Hi, everybody, and welcome back. Welcome to the last Monday of October. This Saturday is the 31st, and of course, Halloween. And between now and then, we've got a lot happening weather-wise. Starting off on this 26th day of the 10th month, well, things were rather gray outside and rather dry for the most part. That is changing. Rain chances increasing, widespread showers Tuesday and into Wednesday morning. Also the possibility of some strong winds late Tuesday night into Wednesday morning. And then dry air will make a return on Thursday. As far as total rainfall amounts, a good average will be a ½ inch to 3/4 or an inch of rain throughout the entire event. It's going to be the winds which will also become interesting, and all this is happening at least in part due to a whole lot of Patricia making its way up into our neck of the woods. Your updated weather forecast forthcoming in just a few moments, as is details on a structure fire believed to be arson in Magoffin County since I saw you last. The Magoffin County Fiscal Court met in special session last Friday, and we'll bring you the discussion as it centered around the future of the Magoffin County Library Board and the library project in and of itself, and how the judge proposed that they move forward from here, involving the public as much as possible. What a beautiful day they had to take a nice little ride on the Dawkins Trail. We'll take you to an organized horse and buggy carriage ride, if you will, over the course of the weekend. Talk about some scenery these folks got to enjoy. That and a whole lot of other news and information. Your weather forecast does, as I said, include some rain and potential for some gusting winds. Definitely going to see some winds upwards of average around 17 miles per hour gusts on your Wednesdays when things are really going to pick up. And then we'll even see the potential for some heftier winds there tomorrow night and into your Wednesday at opportune times. Opportune, not a good word there. Intermittent times, we'll say that. More on your forecast and those headlines coming up, as I said. However, we do begin tonight scanning the area with an update on a local fatal crash that's happened in Johnson County. It's been confirmed that one female, the only victim in the crash, has died after a violent collision. It happened on US 23, Route 23, near the Hager Hill area, and Route 1428. The car traveled a long distance off of the roadway, ultimately after the initial collision with another vehicle. We know that Johnson County Coroner J.R. Frisbee has confirmed that it happened near or along Willow Drive, just off of Route 23 in the Hager Hill area. It was also an accident that happened sometime around 2:30 this afternoon. The vehicle that the female was reportedly in, from what I understand, was said to have been traveling, they believe, at a high rate of speed. It was also believed to have been traveling southbound on US 23 when the female driver sideswiped a tractor trailer in that area. She lost control of that vehicle. It then went off the roadway and into a field some 300 feet or so off of Route 23 before coming to a final rest. At 6 o'clock, just as I was sitting down, the Kentucky State Police and other authorities were still conducting their investigation on scene, and they expected to be there possibly for quite some time before being able to close their investigation and open up that area to its normal flow of traffic. As I said, the actual accident, as far as the collision with a vehicle off the roadway, but nevertheless they were working in what was going to be a congested area for the foreseeable future. Maybe an update even before I leave you this evening. Here's an update. The man charged with attempted murder and other charges, that of a Prestonsburg police officer, made a court appearance this morning in Floyd County after being released from the hospital. 28-year-old Robert Powers of Oxshire was arraigned this morning in Floyd County Court after spending several days in the hospital. He was charged almost immediately following the shooting last week in the attempted murder of police officer of Prestonsburg, Adam Dixon. This all, of course, following a standoff that happened after a police chase last Tuesday night. We know that both men were shot, police returning fire on Powers after he, of course, pulled his weapon on Dixon. That was after being tased by officers. That taser deployment did not work, and that's when he pulled a firearm and shot Dixon once in the chest. Dixon was not wearing a bulletproof vest. However, that bullet did not strike any vital organs, and he is recovering quite well, we are told, at home. Powers' bail was set at $250,000. He has a court appearance set for November the 2nd. That will be when a preliminary hearing is to take place. He's charged with attempted murder of a police officer and flagrant non-support. He also potentially faces other charges, including being a persistent felony offender, since he has several prior convictions. Here in Sagersville, Fire Chief Paul Howard tells me this fire appears to be arson. There were no utilities on the structure, which was completely destroyed by the blaze. It all happened shortly after 6 Saturday evening. This is some video brought in from the scene that shows a single-wide mobile home completely destroyed by fire. It happened around 6:07. That was the time of call at a location just past the junction of 460 and 14 there at the caution lights, just further on towards Prestonsburg, just past that intersection on the left. This one of 3 mobile homes in the area. The Sayersville Fire Department and Fire Chief Paul Howard says that they were called shortly after 6 and that they determined after arriving that no one was living in the structure and no one was inside at the time of their arrival. They did speak with the structure's owners, Linda and James Howard, who said they had moved out some time ago and that the utilities, including the electric, hadn't been connected to the mobile home for months. Fire Chief Paul Howard says that it was obvious that the fire started in the living room section of the structure. However, there were no obvious indicators as to how or who may have burned down the mobile home that belonged to the Howards. The Kentucky State Police has been called to bring an arson investigator onto the scene to try to determine how and who may have started the fire. The Sayersville Fire Department also relied on the District 3 Fire Department for mutual aid in the form of manpower and additional water supply. It's all under investigation, as I said, both by the KSP and the Sayersville Fire Department. Magoffin County Fiscal Court discusses the Magoffin County Library Board and the library project in a special meeting this past Friday, and I'll have coverage after these words. To get high-speed internet on their state-of-the-art fiber optic network for all of your home and business solutions, or to watch TV without a contract on over 200 digital channels with superb quality, or stay connected with family and friends with 24/7 telephone service you can always depend on, contact Foothills Broadband today. Or just click on their link to the right to find out how they're working to provide the latest in communications at affordable prices with exceptional service at Foothills Broadband. During Friday's special session of the Magoffin County Fiscal Court, the court voted to turn over $25,000 in cold severance funds to the District 3 Volunteer Fire Department in Magoffin County. And this discussion centered around the Magoffin County Public Library Board, Judge Harden noting that Friday's scheduled hearing, in which he said that he was going to initiate removal proceedings against 3 members of the Magoffin County Library Board, was basically a moot point after the resignation of those 3 and an additional board member, leaving only 1 board member in place at this time. He also noted that he has plans on proceeding with appointing new members to fill those positions, but he is going to take the public's input on that and another topic of how to proceed with the proposed library project.
Obviously, we do not have to have a hearing as 4 of the members resigned from the library board, which is 1 more than I have requested. I would go on record as saying that Mr. May had even volunteered to resign himself if that would expedite things. And I asked him not to resign, and he did agree. It is my understanding that there's some kind of, when there's not a library board anymore, or when they're first constituted, there's supposed to be some discussion between the judge and the state librarian. That would be my assumption of what is the situation now. I understand that there were 4 names submitted previously, but I scoured the minutes of the library board and could not find any action in which the library board had presented those. Quite frankly, if they did and then resigned, I don't think they should be honored anyway, and if anyone else did in their name, they shouldn't be honored. So as far as I'm concerned, we should start over. I have only 2 requests when it comes to the library and the things that we're going to talk about. It's number 1, the church is off the table. Anything possible, the church is off the table unless the state comes in here with a lawsuit and tells us we have to. Once we take that off, I think anything else should be open for discussion. I would like to take the lead of the SOAR board and ask for recommendations. We could have a big meeting, but those are cumbersome and sometimes can be acrimonious. I make the proposal that we, for about a week and a half, that people can turn in suggestions, whatever crosses your mind. You can put your name on it, or you cannot. And I would instruct my staff to Monday morning get a Facebook site, title it Magoffin County, whatever that we need to for the library, and that way anybody that wants to go on there and put a suggestion on there. And if it is not crazier than my ideal, we'll put a floating one on the Flossie May pond. Go ahead and try it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's about as crazy as you can get. So try anything you want to try. Say it. You don't know. When sometimes two ideals that by themselves are not all that good, but together they may make a very good idea. You know, we can do anything, include build the biggest, fanciest library that we can bond for. But quite frankly, that's 30 years commitment, and I don't know what communication and exchange of information is going to be like in 5 years or their own 30 years. The people have the legal right to dissolve the board. We can go back to the building we had. We can refurbish that building. We can go over here. Let's explore the possibilities. If someone wants to submit an idea, as long as it's not derogatory to someone else or doesn't use inappropriate language, if they'll mail it unsigned, my staff will be instructed to put it on the Facebook as a suggestion. So you might not want to go on, but you might have an idea you'd like to float. Let's try that. And then we can schedule a meeting, because I think the most important thing is to see if there's a consensus of where we want to head before I try to go and negotiate with the state librarian about the people we need on it. Because and we do need to make a commitment, and I think that, I don't know that we can attach it as any kind of ordinance, but in the future, there needs to be, each and every time, there needs to be someone from each district. There needs to be someone from each district, and both parties need to be represented. It doesn't need to be man, woman, it doesn't need to be up the river or down the river, it doesn't need to be Democrat or Republican. It needs to be everyone included. And you know, I'm not going to sit here and say, well, magically one party ended up with all five and that wasn't intent. That doesn't happen. So I open the floor for comments.
Well, I spoke at length this afternoon with our Commissioner of Libraries and Archives for the Commonwealth of Kentucky, Wayne August. And it sounds like what you're proposing is exactly what he had in mind. I asked him what is the procedure, and he told me since there are 4 board vacancies, he would like to have 8 names submitted by our county judge. And my understanding is that they go through those and they return 4 names back for the fiscal court's approval.
He also noted in his closing remarks that he was thankful that such a historic and vital structure is going to be saved, and says that he was regretful of all the divisiveness that has been caused around the subject. He also urged everyone to remove politics out of the entire equation from this point further. As for Judge Harden, he also closed with saying that as much acrimony as there has been to this point, that they should, as a fiscal court, see what direction the public wants to take and then seat a board that would want to work toward that goal. And as they're going to do that, they're going to go to social media, news outlets, and any means possible to try to find as much input from the community on the subject of keeping the library where it is, building a new library, to what extent and what location. They're going to use social media and any forms available to them over the next several days and possibly coming weeks to find out what direction the community at large wishes the future library board to take. And of course, we'll keep you up to date on that very topic as we have throughout the entire situation. A few words, but plenty of news to follow. I'll be right back. The rains held off with the exception of a few sprinkles, and a little cloud cover made for a beautiful day on the Dawkins Trail, and a day to this point unlike any other. Definitely more proof that the First Lady was right. Build it, then they will come, and they'll come from all over. This was a trial run, or ride, if you will. About 30 spots were available, and they were basically all full. Buggies from right here at home, Magoffin, Johnson, neighboring counties, and from elsewhere across Kentucky. And a lot of these folks do this a lot of the time. For example, Danny Crawford from Flemingsburg, he makes a point to get out on his buggy about 3 or 4 weekends out of the month, and that's just about all of them. This was his first time on the Dawkins Trail, but he, like everyone else, saw a great potential and an even greater scenery.
I was raised on a farm in Kentucky raising tobacco and mules all my life. But we have tractors and stuff too. Now we do with the mules. It's just pleasure ride. This lady with me is Bev Merrill from Covington. She's a friend, we ride together. We just got off a 2 weeks ride from Shelbyville to Barberville and went through the Daniel Boone Festival. And we try to ride about every weekend. We think it's lovely. We've rode up here, this makes the 3rd day, but we rode the country roads other than today. Today's the first day we've been on the Dawkins Trail, and it's lovely. And we hope they get this thing annual. We'd like to be back.
The ride gave folks like Danny another great place to take in some breathtaking natural beauty. And of course, the buggy ride also gives some other folks who maybe can't or don't ride horseback or bicycle the pleasure of experiencing all that Mother Nature and the Dawkins Trail has to offer. From riding over the trestle and through the tunnel and amongst hillsides that are bursting with the colors of fall. Indeed, a gorgeous afternoon. And keep in mind, this was only a few short miles of what will be, upon its completion, one of the longest such trails in the state of Kentucky. And I have to say, without a doubt, the one with the most beautiful view.
I'm Greg Greer, Cindy Reeder. This is Sabrina.
Oh, Sabrina.
And we're from London, Kentucky, Corbin, Kentucky, and Laurel County.
Before we talk about today, give me a little bit of background about how often you do this, where you go. And
we go all over, just anywhere that there's a ride, or just we ride Coal Hill, we ride here now, and we just anywhere we can go.
This is the first time on the Dawkins? Or?
Yes, it is.
Give me a little bit of opinion about it.
It's a very well maintained trail down through here.
Really?
It was really nice. Good scenery. Real good scenery. It can be a real big draw, and it's if you have it a couple times a year, 3 or 4 times a year, you'll have a lot of people come riding because we enjoy it. I think it's a really was organized good today. People done a great job getting it ready.
Indeed they did. Everyone was treated to a big meal at the Swamp Branch Trailhead before heading back through some of the most beautiful landscape and naturally painted scenery that you could ever imagine. I think without a doubt it's going to be the Dawkins Trail and all that Mother Nature has to offer around it that will continue to bring folks from all over Kentucky and these United States to this part of eastern Kentucky. Oh, and if you ever thought about roughing it and seeing sights like the Dawkins Trail, Danny says it's not that bad. Tell me a bit about your buggy here.
I've got 4 of them, and this one here, I bought it and widened it out, and so I could have a bed and everything inside, and living quarters. And I got a little generator here that I have electric, and everything works good.
That's real close to an RV. You got
Yeah,
to bend it.
and then I've also gotten a buddy heater with gas, and it's got the right temperature, whatever you need.
So all you need is, well, not even an excuse anymore to either hike, bike, horseback, and on the occasion, take a buggy ride on the Dawkins Trail. Before we go any further, we better go over to tonight's Magoffin Farm Bureau Community Calendar and check in. A couple of reminders. Don't forget the Healthy Holiday Series continues on through the 11th of next month. On Tuesdays, 5:30. The Licking River Baptist Church is the location. Wednesdays at noon, the Magoffin County Extension Office. And they're having a free cooking series, a class, Healthy Holiday Series class on all sorts of items, appetizers, dips, salads, entrees, desserts, potluck, and more. Call 349-3216. These are free. A free cooking series just in time for the holidays at either location. So call the Extension Office if you have any questions. A reminder, get your flu shot at the Magoffin County Health Department or anywhere you can get it. They're open at the Health Department Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, 8 to 3, Tuesdays, 8 till 5, Fridays, 8 until 1. For any adults and children, of course, Medicaid, Medicare, Humana, Anthem, Kentucky, Employee Health Insurance, all accepted. Call to if you have a different insurance, and they can help you get your flu shot. And this, of course, is recommended for nearly everyone that you get a vaccination to protect yourself and your family against the flu. If you have a calendar announcement, birthday, anniversary, or otherwise, mail, phone, fax, email, Facebook it, drop it off here at the studio. We'll tell everyone about it. And remember, you can always catch the show in case you missed it the first time or something you want to see again on our website at yournewstoday.com. Turning over to the obituary services that we have for this evening, we've learned of the passing of 68-year-old Gwen Connolly Johnson of Sagersville, who passed away on Saturday's date. She survived by her husband, Bobby Joe, son, Robbie, and daughter, Leanne Arnott. Visitation is going to be after 6 o'clock tomorrow, and then prior to services, which are Wednesday at 1 o'clock, all from the Magoffin County Funeral Home. And 49-year-old Janet Sue Trusty Wallen of Combe Street passed away on the 25th. She was married to James Wallen, who survived. She's also survived by sons Timothy Joe and Jim Curtis. Visitation after 5 tomorrow, all day Wednesday, and prior to Thursday morning services, all from the Magoffin County Funeral Home. And we've also learned of the passing of Paul E. Gasparic, 67, of Big Lick Road here in Sagersville, who passed away on today's date, survived by his wife, Theda Watkins Gasparic. Arrangements incomplete at this hour, but to be announced soon by the Magoffin County Funeral Home. Now, I've got a lot of football to talk about. I'm going to have to hold it over till tomorrow night. A reminder that the Ghost Walk started at 6 o'clock at the Sagersville Renaissance program. Goes on for hours, free for all the kids, young and old. They'll have refreshments and all sorts of haunting fun, taking you on a historic Ghost Walk of downtown Sagersville. You still got plenty of time. The Sagersville City Council meeting from last Monday, which was put up till this Monday, has now been postponed until next Monday. They have a working session they are trying to get in, and they are now planning on meeting next Monday. And that leaves me just enough time to go into your Licking Valley RECC forecast, where it's coming. What's left of Patricia, it's not so much a tropical mess anymore, just a good old-fashioned mess. Tonight, we'll see a low of 49. We'll see cloudy skies. We'll see some showers likely, and those showers are going to increase. And, in fact, they'll be widespread before you know it. Tomorrow's daytime high of 57 will not go much further than that for tomorrow's nighttime low, falling only about 2 degrees. Look for showers tomorrow. Rain to be on the increase. Winds to be slight at the beginning, but possible strong winds late tomorrow night into your Wednesday. Keep that in mind. They'll start out slow and they will increase and be steady, 6 to 17 miles per hour, maybe even some bigger gusts into your Wednesday. Some warm air pushes in on Wednesday, 70 degrees with a nighttime low of 52, but we've still got those winds. We've still got showers into your Wednesday, and they will likely stick around until Wednesday night sometime. And after all of that mess, we do have some dry air on the back side of things. Mostly sunny and cooler, 63, a low of right at freezing on your Thursday night, and that freezing will be under clear skies, mind you. So dry thereafter, at least for a few days. I know it's so far away, but as for the weekend, well, here's how things are shaping up. After this big, what could be a wet mess for the next couple of days, Thursday starts the first day of some dry air. Then Friday, we'll see another day with right around 61 in Sagersville. That's trick-or-treat night. A low of 33 that night. Should be dry, moms and dads. That's the good thing. A bit on the cool side. Not unusual for this time of year in trick-or-treat, obviously. But partly cloudy skies that night with a low just barely above the freezing mark. And then on Halloween, which is trick-or-treat for a lot of other areas, on Saturday, well, it looks to be pretty decent. Temperatures picking up to about 65. Nighttime lows a little more favorable. Mostly sunny. We'll see another slight chance of some showers late Saturday night, well after the trick-or-treaters are in. And that will continue into your Sunday with more partly sunny skies and still a 20 to 30% threat of some showers. And next week's not shaping up to be a whole lot nicer than this one at this point. But we'll talk about that when I see you next time. And that's going to put the wrap on this evening's show for the last Monday in October, mind you. Enjoy your evening, and we'll see you back here tomorrow night, as always, for more of Your News Today. News you'll only see by tuning in and spending a little time with us. Thanks for watching.